live on all of our streams. So let me put that link in the chat. Zoom
if this
screen
works,
sharing or
I'll
anything
post
like that.
a article that explains how to use it. I just want to make sure that my
Okay, I
computer
think
isn't
we're
going to
live
melt down tonight.
on all of our streams. So let me put that link in the chat to mute their device. Zoom
If this
screen
works,
sharing that might be
I'll
anything. Yeah, that was me. Sorry about that. Okay. Before we start the slideshow, does anyone have anything they would like to announce or share with the group?
Let's see. Kino Lorber just put up pre-orders for the Glass Web, which is a 50s 3D picture with Edward G. Robinson. It's been languishing in music rights for many, many years. So it's nice to see that one coming out. I think that'll be in April.
And that's Kino Lorber. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
I'll put that link in the chat.
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah, it's 3D film archive restoration.
This has got to be 1953, 1954.
I believe 53.
53. There it is, 1953. All right, yeah. I'll be pre-ordering that. Okay, for tonight's slideshow, we were actually going to start with a workshop. Bob Bloomberg has a couple of images, anaglyphs that he was going to share, I believe from a project he's working on. We'll get back to that because he hasn't joined us yet. But I will share my screen. There we go. And our first image for tonight is by Melinda, and the title is Bad Dog. Can you see that, Melinda? Let's see, Melinda, I think you might be muted. Yeah, if you want to unplug or restart, take your time.
How's that?
Perfect.
Sounds good.
Oh, I think I was muted for longer than I thought. Thank you. Yeah, so the title pretty much says it all. This is not a dog I want to live with or near. Certainly seems like an evil dog. I don't know what happened to it, why it's like that, but this is its life. And yeah, got to just saw this little scene with the last rays of the sun, as I often do.
What camera did he use?
My X1. Oh, the H1, sorry. The hydrogen one.
Oh, okay.
The red phone, the hydrogen one. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So
it's pretty much only good for close up, like selfies or something. Even at this distance, it's struggling to get much stereopsis, but it's still pretty handy. And what else can I say? Yeah, I love the lighting. Nice little moment on the Marina Green, and I was glad he was muzzled.
You still got pretty close. You have to get close with that narrow separation.
Yeah, that was as close as I could really get. I mean, the camera would have liked me to be a little a little closer, but I didn't really dare.
Is this the full image or you cropped in?
That's the full image, except I cropped a little off the right-hand side.
No, I think the depth is right for the shot.
Oh, good.
A wider separation, you'd have the buildings going too far out of register to be comfortable.
Yeah, I think the depth is really good.
Thanks.
And the light is great.
Yeah, I like that sort of fringed backlighting. Oh, and I did put a bluish gradient, a bluish radiant gradient in the sky. It was pretty flat before. I mean, it's still pretty flat, but I did touch the sky.
Yeah. Very unintrusive. Very nice.
It's nice that the color of the shirt kind of matches or goes with the colors of that muzzle and that leash.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Melinda.
Mhm.
This next one is by me, and I've been showing a lot of these mirror photos from the flea market. I promise this is the last one. I've been showing these every meeting since October when I took these. And I thought it was a good subject for 3D. I like the additional depth that you get with the mirror, and I like the way this this girl is sort of peeking at herself as she walks by.
Good timing.
Looks like she's peeking at you.
She's actually, you know, I can zoom in a little bit. Well, if you were to zoom in a little bit, I think she's looking at herself.
I'm not sure she would be able to see herself from that angle.
Yeah, I don't think
I
so.
think she's
Either.
quite in front of the mirror.
She could be looking at the clothing on the left.
And I think it helps there's another person reflected in the mirror. That just gives another layer. All right, I promise that's the last of these for a while. Let's look at one by Jay. And the title is Corncob.
So this is in Chicago, Cha-Cha with my phone, and it's a pair of iconic buildings built in the 60s. So yeah, everyone calls it the Corn Cob.
I wonder why.
Yeah, it really revitalized the whole area when it was built. And I was walking by at sunset, so good lighting. And no, probably separation was probably about 2 or 3 feet.
So is there only parking on the lower levels, or is it just
Yeah.
there aren't that many? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and above that separation is the apartments.
Yeah, you know, my son lives at the top of this building, has an apartment at the at the highest floor.
Oh, cool.
George, I think
Now,
you
maybe-
exhibited photos taken from the balcony of that apartment. Am I right?
Yes, you're right.
I
Mhm.
think you've shown those maybe at the Cascade Club or somewhere.
Yeah.
So I've seen this building from two angles.
Now, Tor will probably know, but I have a vague recollection of seeing like an action movie with a car coming
Yes.
through here. Do you know what movie that was? Or
Not offhand. I'm going to guess Running Scared, but I'm not sure.
Scared.
I can't remember if that was.
My
set
wife
near
says it's an old movie with Steve McQueen, so
Chicago. Okay. That one
Sounds about right.
Of course, a building like this, there could be more than one movie.
Yeah, I bet it's been used many times. I don't know how many times they've launched a car out of it. So.
Well, they probably haven't done it in 3D. All right, thank you. Thank you, Jay. Hello, Oleg. Are you with us?
I'm here.
Oleg, you're up next. The title is Andres on the Uman Lodge's deck. Did I get that right?
Right. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
loud and clear.
Okay, good. Yeah, on my trip to Chile, one of the places we stayed at was in this remote spot with the most luxurious hotel I've ever stayed at. I think it was $500 a month or something like that to stay there.
Month or a night?
I mean, a day.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
the views are tremendous. Worth the money. And Anders was our driver. To get to this spot, you have to go through a rough dirt road. I don't know. I didn't see any helicopter landing spots, but to build it, they probably needed to use helicopters.
So, Oleg, what's the separation on the lenses?
6 inches.
So, how are you able to get depth between the sky and the mountains?
Uh,
Or maybe that's an optical illusion.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's
I'm
just
just
an
imagining.
illusion. It's flat. It's actually flat.
Okay.
Did you darken the sky?
I played with it. Yeah,
Okay.
I tried to get it to what it actually looked like.
Hmm.
The camera doesn't always do a good job of that.
Pretty minor, but there's some artifacts around the edges. You've got a bit of some little black slivers where you rotated the image.
Yeah.
It looks like.
Yeah, that's my fault. I didn't finish it up. I did finish it, but this is an older version.
Yeah, it looks
I
like
think we might have a speck on the lens in the upper right corner of the right eye.
Yeah, there's a little splotch, but I think you could crop in just a little bit all the way around.
I like the space of it.
Yeah, that.
Oh, the splotch on the building. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something there.
Yeah, I love that glass barrier. It really adds something.
My mind keeps wanting to turn it into like a rendering or a picture or something.
Like a giant TV.
Yeah, I think it has to do with the glass or something.
Maybe the diffuse lighting.
That could be too.
There is a bit of a reflection in the glass.
It has a kind of an unreal look to it.
It doesn't seem very safe. But if it were a regular railing, we wouldn't see the river in this composition. So I'm glad they decided to build with that material. All right, thank you, Oleg. This next one is by Bob Bloomberg, and he's not with us yet. So let's move on. He'll probably will be joining us to one by Steve, and the title is Boots.
Yeah, they supplied us boots to go, whenever we were on some land that we could or ice that we could explore, and then at the end of the cruise, they told us to put our boots out, and then I saw in the hallway everybody put their boots out and thought it would make a interesting picture. I took a bunch with my phone, cha-chas, but this one's with the W3. I think this one turned out the best.
That's a nice composition. I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah, great 3D.
The pattern on the carpet helps, I think.
Has kind of a backrooms vibe.
I wonder if you could bump up the blacks a little bit to make the individual boots a little more distinguishable. Right now, the boots kind of merge into a black, kind of a single black mass.
I could certainly experiment. There's also a clarity feature which sort of mixes contrast with sharpness.
Mm-hmm.
I think the two images are just a little bit different. I think you might want to change just the contrast in one of them to match.
Yeah, I usually do auto color matching, but I don't know, does Stereo Photo Maker have a contrast match?
Does it have auto contrast? It might. Let me look.
Well, it looks
But,
at the color balance is different. The one on the left is a little bit more cool than the one on the right, or the one on the right has more green. So all you need to do is the Stereo Photo Maker auto. What's that function?
Auto color adjust.
Yes. I have a Fuji that has the same thing. One side is warmer than the other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just did that now. It helped with the boots, but it made a mess of the wall on the right side.
that's sort of part of my regular routine. Although, I may forget a step. Sometimes the auto color doesn't work.
To the left, yes.
I had one where I had my finger, was partly in one of the lenses, and the auto color, the differences was off the chart. They didn't even resemble each other. The finger made such a difference, and it was only just a small portion of the picture, but it just changed how Stereo Photo Maker looked at the picture. Yeah, I'm looking at it now without my glasses on and without this device, and I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see I see the picture on the right seems to be a little bit more saturated and a little bit more contrast. I'll definitely have to take a look at that. Oh, you're already in there, Matt.
I'm looking at it right now. Yes, I'm not actually sure. I haven't used this tool. So we've got auto color adjustment.
Did you do the auto color adjustment? Like
do
this
that
one?
now.
Did you do it?
There we go.
I
just
thought
did
I
that.
did. Maybe I forgot to.
So I just
No.
ran it on the Zoom screen share for our YouTube viewers. You won't see this.
Well, now I see it
I just
changed a little
ran it
bit.
on
Now
the
they're much
Zoom,
better,
yeah.
I think.
I referenced the left view, and yeah, it matched
I think it worked.
very well.
So when you're voting, use this one.
Okay. Let me do that on the YouTube live streams. There we go. Probably matters less on the anaglyph, but okay, I'll leave this up for a few moments for our YouTube viewers so that they can see that difference. It should pop up any moment. Welcome, Bob.
And for those that weren't here last week, this is my trip to Antarctica.
Say that again, Steve. I missed that last part.
I was just thinking that if anybody wasn't here last week, I was referring to the trip to Antarctica.
Right. Antarctica. All right. Thank you, Steve. Welcome, Bob. Are you with us?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm here.
All right. I'm going to put you right on the spot.
Oh, great.
I'm going to go back one for those who are following along with the downloaded files. This is image number 5. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, I'm not going to save our changes here. And the title, this is a conversion, I believe. Pileated woodpecker. Did I get that right, Bob?
Pileated.
Pileated. Tell us about this.
I don't see it on my screen
Oh,
here.
it'll
Let
be
me.
popping
Oh,
up
there
in
we
a
go.
moment.
Okay. This guy, we don't get many of them around, and he showed up a week or so ago to attack a stump across the creek, and he was there for several days. And this is a screen grab from a video that I shot that I can put a link to in the chat later. He's really a wonderful guy. I love these guys. These are the inspiration for woody woodpecker. This type of woodpecker.
You know, this is our favorite woodpecker too, and I just saw one this morning. Whenever he comes to our feeder, and it's very rare,
Yeah.
we get really excited, and they're very timid. So by the minute I try to grab my camera, like he's gone, and he's really big. My wife says the size of a cat, of a small cat.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like a huge bird.
They're the most prehistoric looking of all the birds around here. I mean, they just have that look about them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, he was very busy. At first, I thought he was nest building, and in the video I can post, he was actually looking for a little dinner, and pulled out this larva that I thought at first was a huge chunk of wood, and it was incredible. It was so big. But yeah, no, it was like he was having a free buffet there across the creek. But I took this, I got a screen grab off, I was using a Goodwill Special Lumix 2D video camera that has a 1200 zoom on it. And then I ran it through Topaz and brightened it up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I can see the problems with immersity. You know, if I look at it, those the pile of leaves in the background, there's some stuff on the stump. But I thought they did a pretty good job. You know, I had to cut and paste a bit, but
You know that there's watermarks too, right?
yeah, I can see them over there. But if it's worth, you know, I thought it run by you guys. If it's worth reconverting, I can take the watermarks out.
It's hard to say. I mean, it looks like a nice 3D composition, but something weird
actually,
about
Yeah,
how the bird is holding the bark.
yeah, no, I opened up the wrong. I think I uploaded the wrong one because I have one. I know I cloned out that yellow branch line that's around his beak because I know the final one did not have that. So I'll look, see if I can find another version of it. But aside from that, Mrs. Lincoln, how does everyone enjoy the play?
What was the resolution of the video that you captured? Was it HD or 4K?
It wasn't 4K. It was HD.
HD.
Sure.
And then you ran it through, screen grab through Topaz to sharpen it up?
Yeah, well, I did the screen grab first and may have done some adjustment there first, trying to get it, you know, to look as good as I could, and then ran it through, I think, Immersity first and then Topaz.
Okay, yeah, I think it looks really good considering how you captured it.
Yeah, no, Topaz does a wonderful job. The sharpening and I ran it through Photo AI.
So I went to the Topaz website yesterday, and I couldn't find the free version that I used to use. Is it hidden? Has it changed? Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, it's there. It defaults to, you're talking about when you're downloading?
Yeah, I mean, all I could find was like the paid version, $199 version.
It's kind of hard to see, but it's right above it. There's a free version.
Okay.
And the nice thing about the new free version is that instead of putting all of these Immersity logos all throughout the shot, if I'm not mistaken, they're now just putting it down in the lower right corner. So what I've done with more recent ones is I've left a lot of extra room at the bottom of the shot and just cloned it out. But, you know, I've used them for free for so long, I don't mind paying for some credits. And
Sure.
I still have 150 or so to go. So it's like the Seinfeld. Is it sponge-worthy?
I'm noticing now that they're actually kind of smart about where they put the watermarks. They don't put it like on top of the bird. They're aware of the depth of the text, and they're putting it in places where it doesn't conflict with anything that would be in front of it.
A lot of the stuff that I've seen that, at least their older versions, it's all over the place. I've tried painting them out, and it is a hassle. It's worth the 20 credits or whatever. But you should try the free version with the Immersity logo in the bottom. And
I think there may be a tiny bit of retinal rivalry in his leg.
I'm sure.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It looks a little broken or something. It's not. It's misregistered kind of. Oh, and the bark texture has gone into his foot too. That's weird.
Yeah, it's not just retinal rivalry, but the perspective or the depth of it doesn't seem quite right. But the leaves looks pretty amazing. I'd say they did a nice job with the leaves, and his body looks really good. And yeah, I agree with Matt. It's really amazingly sharp.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with Topaz. I think they have a great product. And the Gigapix is incredible
Gigapix.
for blowing up imagery. If you have a low res image, it can blow up easily 6 times and more. And often it looks better when it's blown up.
Incredible.
What is that exactly?
It's called Gigapix. It's their enlarging app.
Oh.
And I can't praise it enough. I mean, it's wonderful. I don't know how they got their algorithm to do it, but
I have one image that badly needs that.
You should give it a try.
I will.
But yeah, no, I love the way the colors came out on this, and even that pile of yellow sawdust in the foreground that I wish wasn't there. But
well, the yellow color is actually nice.
Yeah, no, I don't mind the color.
Picture.
It's just obscuring the bird. But I've also had amazing luck just using the Photoshop version of doing, instead of content aware fill, doing what's it called? Where it'll fill in.
The generative fill?
Yes, thank you. Generative fill. I'll have to post a little New Year's greeting I did where it was some things were cut off in the shot. I just extended the canvas, and it's amazing. It filled in like a light on the nightstand table and views out the window, and just kind of figured out what it should be.
I've been using generative fill to get rid of reflections in windows. It doesn't work great in stereo, but when it does work, it does a great job. Just select it and type in, remove this reflection.
Yeah, I haven't even tried prompts on it. I've just kind of selected areas. I noticed Photoshop, unless I'm not finding it, has changed some of their tools, which irks me.
Yeah, they've buried them in neural filters or the camera raw filter. It's kind of all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, the selection tool that I'm upset about is it's not the magic wand, but the other one, where normally I could just paint with it and it would fill in automatically and kind of figure out where I wanted to select. Now it paints it. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
So just
figure out how to switch it back.
My Samsung phone has a AI driven reflection remover. Came with the phone.
Yeah, it's amazing how far they've come. I just saw there's a video online right now called The Heist. I don't know if you've seen it. A former filmmaker, or still is a filmmaker, has created basically the first totally AI video.
Oh, I saw that today.
Yeah.
Meyer just put up a link. I haven't watched it yet.
Right. That's Gary sent it to me. So that's
that's why I saw it today. Of course, it's not the first. Somebody posted about a month ago an entire animated feature that was all AI created.
No, this is live. This, I think, was the first live action total. I mean, it's only it's less than 2 minutes long.
If it's AI, it's not using humans. So how do you determine? I mean, even it looks like live.
Oh no, I think it is using. It's basically, I'm assuming it's doing the same that the photo AI does. It just scours the web for videos and the right images and just puts it in to the finished film. I'm not sure. You have to ask the creator. I know he did a lot of work on it, especially with sound and Foley and continuity, but I think all the imagery is totally AI created, which is very impressive since it looks like a film from the 70s, which is one of the prompts he gave it.
Well, if you can find a link, Bob, put it in the chat.
Yeah, I will do that.
Well, thank you, Bob. Yeah, this is a very interesting conversion. I mean, the story of how you captured it is just part of it. very nice.
I'll have to post the video of them. It's wonderful. I think you'll like it. But yeah, I see. I mean, the leaves are very forgiving, but if you look at it, they've kind of just clumped them together and gave them a little bit of depth.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't do that by hand. It does a
Right.
pretty good job. Certainly better than I could do. But they're not necessarily accurate, but
Yeah, but it gives you,
can't really tell.
and as you all know, it gives you a good starting point. It gets
Yeah.
you 70% of the way there most of the time.
All right. Well, thank you, Bob.
Sure.
Let's jump ahead to number 7 in tonight's slideshow, and this is by Melinda, and the title is Light at the End of the Tunnel.
Yeah, so this was another snap after the our last club meeting at Point Richmond,
The plunge.
I don't know what that is. This is the old rail line that goes through the ridge out to the actual pier at Point Richmond, or what's left of the pier. And apparently it was a pretty important line because that's where the ferry was, and also a lot of cargo ships would unload directly onto the rail lines there. And so I drove through the other tunnel that's just a quarter mile to the left of this one here. That's still in operation. And then I drove. Then I turned left and went into the Point Richmond little town there. It's very cute. And going over the tracks, I spotted this, so I jumped out and took a couple of snaps. And I think I used a little bit too extreme stereo for this, especially for the distance. I'm zoomed in quite a ways, so it's almost a telephoto image, and then I also cropped in a fair amount here as well. So it's a lot of stereo, but it's nice that there's enough sunlight that's sort of filtering through the hills and things and lighting up different parts of it. And then I got lucky. There's actually a person in the picture who stood relatively still. So I didn't even notice that when I took the picture, but only saw that after I started working with it.
I was going to ask if that is a person.
I think the person moved and
Yeah.
appears to be closer than they actually are, so they look smaller than a person would be.
That could be, yeah. And it looks like, now that I'm zooming in stereo photo maker, it looks like they're hovering about a foot over the ground. But yeah, it didn't seem to be worth the effort to try to fix them or anything. I mean, they're just so tiny in the picture.
Yeah. I'm seeing that on social media, a lot of people who post stereo photos and who primarily make cha-chas aren't concerned with retinal rivalry caused by moving people or cars, and the people who view the photos don't really seem to mind either.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a new thing.
Yeah.
At least maybe it's the youth culture or something just doesn't care about that.
Maybe it's the visual stimulation of there just being something different in each eye as part of the enjoyment.
Or they're just sort of not seeing that for some reason. Or
Well, if they're viewing it on their phones, then yeah, they're not going to spot it.
yeah, phones are definitely affecting everything. Like I also noticed that usually infinity is at the window, or at least it's almost everything is through the window, and so that's just normal now.
Yeah. You've mentioned this before, Melinda. I think viewing stereo on a small screen, on like a smartphone screen, I think with infinity at the window and with a lot of parallax, I think you can get away with that. It kind of works on a small screen. You get a very 3D effect. Oleg, how is this on your
every
3D
platform
TV?
is different. So the smartphone is just the latest.
Yeah. Oleg, is this too hyper for you? It looks comfortable to me on my tablet.
Yeah, I'm looking at a reduced size. I can't comment on that.
Ah.
On my TV, it's exaggerated, but not uncomfortably.
Definitely miniaturized, but yeah, comfortable to view for me.
Oh, good to know. I just wasn't sure.
If Stephanie Ann Blythe was here tonight, she would confirm, Melinda, your explanation of where these tracks lead to the old freight dock, which is how freight was shipped to San Francisco. And she'd also comment that you're standing at an historic intersection. The original wigwags, the train flags, are still standing. They're not in operation. They've put in arms, but those are the original devices that warned traffic at the intersection to stop. And for rail fans, that's a big deal. It's actually a destination. I think there are only one or two other places in the U.S. that still have standing wigwags. So that's all I know.
Yeah, I saw something like that when I went to look up the name of the tunnel. Yeah, one of the last working wigwags or something like that.
Right.
I'm looking now to see if I actually had that included in the image. I don't think so. Maybe that was where I was standing.
Probably, I think you were. Yeah, you were. You would have been
Okay.
right at that intersection.
Yeah, I did crop in a bit, and there was stuff nearby, but I think the wigwag is like directly in the center of the intersection.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen them because I photographed them and shared them at a meeting. That was quite a while ago now, but I love this neighborhood. I love this area. It's such a photogenic area. It's got a lot of history. I learned how to swim in that building there on the left. It's
Oh wow.
it's a great
That
little
is
place.
the plunge, then. Okay.
The plunge, yes.
Ah, okay. I see.
The natatorium.
Yeah, it's a cute little neighborhood. It's pretty photogenic too.
And you got great light here. This must have been near the end of the day.
It was.
Yeah, I love
This is where Pixar used to be.
That's right. Yeah.
Where what? Pixar?
So,
Pixar Studio. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I used to walk over to the Miller Knox Park during a break, or if I was needing inspiration, I would just leave because it didn't take long to get. Of course, I didn't go through this tunnel. I went through the other one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you were to walk through this tunnel, you would arrive at Miller Knox Park. But it looks kind of sketchy. You're better off using the tunnel next door that has a proper sidewalk. Yeah, very nice. Thank you, Melinda.
Thank you.
This next one is one by me, and this is the entrance to the Musée Mécanique at Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco. I had Friday off, and I spent the day here, which is one of my favorite places. I dropped about $10 in quarters in the machines, and I brought my red hydrogen 1 to capture some of these machines in action, which you'll be seeing later in the slideshow. And this is just kind of an establishing shot. I took this with my Sonys, and it is what it is.
And
I'm
it is
always
nice.
I'm always looking for a good angle of those bike rack hoops.
Yeah, it's hard. Me too. When I'm walking down the sidewalk, I'll usually stop and look through them and see if there's an interesting scene on the other side, and usually there is not. Here I got lucky.
Nice color too.
Yeah, thanks. I used my trick of shooting a color card, which I'll hold up first, which is this new thing I'm doing, and using that to set the white balance of the file. And yeah, they usually seem to come out to be very accurate. So we'll see more of what's going on inside here in a little bit. Until then, Jay, we've got you up next with Green Car.
Okay. This was at the Black Hawk Museum. Do you guys know about that museum? I'll put a link in the chat.
Yeah, put it in the chat.
Really nice. Very impressed by the exhibits. So they have a room with these old cars, and it's also used to hold events. And you'll see later there's Chinese art and nature and Old West. Huge diorama that was donated. So this might make a good visit.
Oh.
And this was shot cha-cha, but I did bring my room pad, and I showed program director the room pad, and she was really interested. So they did not have their, homes viewers or anything, no stereo cards on display. So they've got a great section of the museum that would be good for that. So I'm going to follow up and tell her what possibilities there are.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
If they want a demo of a 3D TV, let me know, and we can definitely arrange something.
Yeah. I have a feeling they need to stick with glasses free because it's a museum and, don't want to deal with that.
Sure.
Yeah.
The Black Hawk Museum, is it only a classic car museum?
No, you'll see I have some other pictures.
Okay. There are
Asian
other
art,
exhibits too.
nature, a lot of taxidermied animals.
Huh, I had no
Um,
idea.
Yeah. So it's pretty new that they had the cars up until about 10 years ago, and then they really started expanding.
You've got a really nice through the window effect here also.
Yeah.
I'm loving the specular highlights on the chrome.
Yeah, they said that the lighting is based off of like lighting jewelry, a lot of
Okay.
pin lights, and deliberate on their part.
Nice.
Yeah, those highlights are really effective in stereo. The
Yeah.
subtle rivalry really makes them come alive. It's a great creative use of retinal rivalry. All right, thank you, Jay. Yeah, we'll be seeing more from the Black Hawk Museum. Oleg, we have one by you next. This is 2 beached boats and a rope.
Yeah, the rope is important, or was important for me because I couldn't understand. Usually, a straight line like that adopts whatever's behind it for the z-axis, but this one, for some reason, didn't do that. It looked right, and when you enlarge it, then you realize that there's a series of little piece of beneath the thing. There's anyway. It announces where the z-axis is all along the rope. I'm talking about the rope on the right side.
Yeah, the various textures, the loose threads, and maybe plant life or whatever. Yeah, it doesn't. It's not just a straight line. You can see that it's a physical object.
Oh, if it had not been there, this picture wouldn't have the impact.
And the light's right for it too. If it was backlit, it would read like this. But you got that nice top light.
By the way, on the backdrop on the left, that is not flare. That's actually fog that was there.
Yeah, it looks like something is blocking the light at the bottom. So it's creating a big, long shadow across the whole horizon.
And that's the way it looked.
Yeah, it's very cool.
The boat on the I was waiting for the boat on the in the back there. He was behind the beach boat, so I waited about 5 minutes, and finally he came out. And except I clicked my shutter just as he came out. So a better picture was if he had gone farther. So I moved him to where I wanted him. I see the composition sort of that rope kind of divides it into 2 pieces.
Yeah, there's a lot to explore here. And I love the kind of general misty quality of the atmosphere. Yeah, that's very successful. Thank you, Oleg. It looks like you had a successful trip to Chile. I imagine you've got quite a few pairs that you're going to be showing us in the coming
Yes,
meetings.
for the next half year.
All right.
Oh, good.
I got hundreds of pictures.
Well, you make it look easy. Thanks, Oleg. Very nice.
Well, I think half of the secret is just getting out, right? It's so easy to stay at home, but just grabbing a camera and getting out of the house is about half of it for me.
Yeah, I think that's the secret. If you're going to take stereo photos, you have to go out and take stereo photos. You don't even really need to have a goal or a plan. But you do need to have your eyes open. All right, thank you, Oleg. Bob, we've got one of yours next. This is Havana Red.
Encountered this gentleman in Havana a few years ago who kindly held still, struck a pose for me while I did a cha-cha with my iPhone.
Oh, nice.
I like to give him a little more room at the bottom. I tried doing some generative fill on that, didn't work, so I'm going to have to spend some time on it. But
well, you've got them placed in the window really well.
Thanks.
I think the cigar makes it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bob, do you
He's
have
he's got a lot of talent because that's not an easy pose to hold still.
Yeah.
With one arm up and part of your weight on a cane, most people would be wiggling around. So kudos to this guy.
Yeah. I took the shots pretty quickly too, so you didn't have to hold it too long.
Yeah, well, kudos to you too.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Bob, do you
I
have
wouldn't worry about trying to generate extra room at the bottom.
Yeah, I went back and forth on it. I don't mind him kind of standing on the bottom of the frame there.
And one thing I'll sometimes do is just trim off a little more. So, just take off the ends of his toes or something. And
Yeah, I thought
then-
about adding. The other thing was to just have his toes overlap the frame a bit, which wouldn't be that difficult to do. I was more concerned about the focus, which was really soft, and this was about as good as I could get it. Again with Topaz.
I think because there's a lot of bricks in this picture, a lot of the floor, that you could probably find something that you could put in down there. I'll bet you could do it in like an hour or so.
Yeah. I probably just extend the existing bricks there too. Just take.
Yeah, you know what else you could do? You could cut him out because he's a bright color, and you could stretch the brick. It would probably be easier than adding to it.
Mm-hmm. That's a possibility.
Yeah, that's a good
I don't
idea,
want
Steve.
much, just a smidgen.
You could just stretch the whole cobblestone road.
Exactly.
Select it without selecting the model here.
Yeah, and then, the parts that are missing that, because you've moved it, some of it like around his legs, that the generative fill could probably fix, or you could hand fix that. That wouldn't be too hard.
Yeah.
But there's also a subtle shadow underneath them that would look really weird if it was as bright as the rest of the street.
Yeah, you could regenerate that shadow. I mean, you'd be faking it, but hey, wouldn't be the first time.
I've tried it a couple times. I've never been able to do a good job. There's probably tricks to do it. I just don't know what they are.
Yeah, nice ambient light here too. No, nothing too contrasty. All right, thank you, Bob.
Sure.
Jay, from you next, we have Wooden Dragon.
This was also at the museum. Used my loom pad to shoot this. Yeah, right distance for the loom pad. You'll see another shot of the model in the background. It's a small museum, but some really nice exhibits.
Yeah, good depth here. How large is this wooden dragon?
Oh, like tall as me, like over 5 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
See, the depth-
it's big.
Depth looks really natural. This is also a good example of mergers, because it looks like, is this one sculpture or?
It's one single sculpture
Wow.
to the tail. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to distinguish where it starts and where it ends in 2D. Really, really helps being able to follow this curving form
Yeah.
back in space. Very nice. Yeah, all this time
It's
I
good
thought it
image
was just a
quality.
car museum. All right, thank you, Jay. From Steve, we have Brabant Island. Somewhere in the Antarctic, I presume.
That's correct. This is boat Cha-Cha. And because we were there in the wintertime or there summertime, it's the sun doesn't really set. It does go low, it goes below the horizon, but then it comes back up again. So it's light. There's pretty much light 24 hours. So this was probably pretty late in the day.
Did you hear about the recent expedition from a bunch of flat earthers
No?
recently?
No.
A bunch of the people who are the most famous people in the community put together a big expedition to go to the South Pole and to film 24 hours just to because they were convinced that it was impossible to get a single video shot which had the sun go all the way around the horizon, and they live streamed it and everything, and sure enough, the sun did what it was supposed to do, and they were all pretty confused about it and weren't quite sure how to feel or what to say or how to incorporate what they had just seen into their worldview. And people that were watching the stream started turning on them, saying that they've sold out and they're doing a fake video and stuff like that. It was pretty amusing.
They got angry at them because they were using the scientific method. How dare they?
Yeah, a lot of people re-examined their beliefs as a result. It's I only watched a little bit of it, but it was kind of it was good to see. It was bringing a skeptical nature to a group that badly needed it, and you could see them sort of learning.
If you assume everything that you hear is false, created by the man, then you can't, everything's been faked. Then you have to go see it for yourself. Oh, there's probably easier ways. I don't know how easy it is to get to the South Pole. I mean, we were quite a long way from the South Pole because Antarctica is a huge continent, and your boat can only go, to one of the edges, the little islands and stuff, and you'd have to trek a really long way. Maybe you can take an airplane. I don't know how you would land it. Maybe with pontoons or something. But
well, there is a research station there, so it's possible to get to. Yeah.
Okay.
And to the plane, there is a plane that'll fly out there. But yeah, the whole prospect of arranging it and everything was difficult and expensive.
I think they do a little research.
Well, it seems like it's really hard to defend flat Earth. I mean, I've taken flights that went, that route over one of the poles. So, it's like, well, how would you get to Norway or wherever you're going, or Russia?
I guess just something they have to experience then.
Yeah, they have to get there on their own, because if you don't trust anything that the scientists tell you, then it is hard. I mean, it's hard to defend the flat Earth because it doesn't seem like it would work. Why aren't there more dead sailors from sailing off the edge of the Earth?
One of my favorite jokes ever. Ernie Kovacs did a little sketch. Mr. Question Man, if the Earth is round, why don't people on the bottom fall off? Wondering. Well, dear Wondering, you have stated a common misconception. People are falling off all the time.
Yeah, well, that's also the end of a Alan Sherman song.
Huh.
Where he's talking about good advice. He's giving good advice to everybody, except he gave some bad advice to Christopher Columbus, and he sailed off the edge of the Earth.
Well, thank you, Steve, for proving to us with this photo that the world is indeed round.
That's right. Send it out.
You didn't fall
off. Let everyone
off.
know. The Earth isn't flat.
And stereo vision works there just as it does here.
Yes, my Samsung phone worked in the cold weather, although it really wasn't that cold. It was about 30 degrees.
you've got a really nice reflection here. And of course, the water changed, but it's so still. Uh, it works.
Thanks. Yeah, I thought probably could get by with it. And
Yeah.
maybe that, it's good for those people who say they embrace the differences.
I imagine that some of these pieces of ice were moving, floating around, but they don't seem to be floating in space or receding into the water or anything like that. I imagine
They're
your boat must have been going
they're
pretty
they are
fast.
moving. We're moving fast enough that their movement is minor. Now we did see a huge iceberg, and they tilt. And right when the tour guide said it, we were near an iceberg, and it was noticeably tilting. I mean, like rotating about 30 degrees. And I got some really nice video of it. Um, it's not 3D video. I got some good 3D video of penguins, but um, I just had my phone with me then. But anybody who wants to see that, let me know.
Yeah, well, thanks, Steve. And speaking of video, Bob has posted some links in the chat. There was the woodpecker video and the heist, the AI feature video. So check those out. And we'll move on to one by Melinda. Sol 114, Perseverance rover spots a dust devil. Another hostile climate.
Very much so. But yeah, Antarctica is used as a practice proxy for a lot of rovers and things that go to Mars. So they're not that incredibly dissimilar. In fact, if you're in just sort of the right place at a low elevation around the equator at the right time of year and the right kind of weather on Mars, it can be like t-shirt weather. Unfortunately, you still need a spacesuit since there's not enough pressure, but the temperature can be almost 60, 70 degrees at the warmest, but most of the time it's very cold. And yeah, this was accidental because they definitely don't have enough time at the speed of light to move the camera, find a dust devil, and take a picture. So they're just common enough that they get them by accident every once in a while. And this was the only one that I've ever seen that was captured in stereo. Though unfortunately, it's just too far away to have any real stereo effect. But it's at least officially a 3D dust devil on Mars, which makes it pretty special.
And it's got perfect synchronization, it looks like. It couldn't possibly be two separate photos.
Yeah, I don't know how well synchronized they are. Sometimes I will notice some weird artifacts between image pairs, but yeah, sometimes it doesn't work. So I'm not sure what's happening, but this time most of the times they're pretty well registered.
And they must be using long lenses or zoom lenses. This looks very telephoto.
I may have zoomed in a fair amount. but I do not think that that they have the ability to zoom this particular camera pair.
It's not a mechanism you'd want breaking down on another planet.
Yeah, and it depends. I mean, every camera they do have is for a different purpose. And like I know that there's another one or two pairs that are just for navigation only. So the cameras are a fixed distance apart. I'm sure they don't zoom or anything. They're just for looking at stuff, within 30 feet. And I think that the Mastcam Z here is for looking a little further than that. And I'm pretty sure they also have cameras that will zoom too, but I don't know the specifics of the various cameras on this rover. I've only been looking at the Mastcam Z photos.
Yeah, I'd love to know more about these cameras. I'm sure there's plenty of information about them if I knew where to look.
Yeah, I mean, go look at the raw data, and if anything catches your eye, then you can go directly from there to the descriptions of the cameras and all the experiments and stuff.
And I see in the chat both Mike and Jay have posted links about these cameras, the Mastcam.
Oh, good. Thanks.
Yeah. Fascinating. Thanks, guys.
However, I have some sad news to announce. The rover is now been essentially put to sleep. It is out of commission for the foreseeable future. Can anybody guess why?
Is it
Trump wants to sell it on QVC.
That would be awesome. No. Anybody else?
Dirty solar panels?
Nope. I'll give you a hint. The rover's fine.
Politics?
Flat tires.
Nope. No, rover is fine.
The receiver isn't working? I mean, funding cut?
No, you guys are getting closer. I'll just tell you. JPL is in charge of the mission, and
dealing with the fires.
They almost got destroyed altogether in the fires.
Wow.
But at least 100 of the JPL employees have lost their homes.
Wow.
So they're not able to continue the mission right now, and they don't know when or even if they'll be able to continue.
I had no idea.
Very sad.
Really is.
Yeah, another strange tragedy of fires.
They can use Zoom.
They can use what? Zoom?
They can just zoom into their workstations.
Yeah, sure. Let us try it.
Why do they have to be physically there? Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Melinda.
Sure.
Next, we have one by me. This is from the Musée Mécanique. This is the little miniature carnival. It's an airplane attraction. And it's not a great photo, but I really wanted to share it because I thought it was a great shot for my red hydrogen 1, which I hadn't charged up in a long time. And when I thought of dropping by here, I realized it'd be the perfect camera. Of course, you can take cha-chas with a smartphone of these, but in this case, I got one of these exhibits in motion, these airplanes spinning around. And that's something I certainly couldn't get with this narrow base synchronized with any other camera in my arsenal. And the size of this is quite small. I would say this card figure is maybe 3 inches, 3 inches tall. So it has, maybe exaggerated depth for the subject. But I was just pretty happy with it, considering everything that was going on. And I think the motion blur probably helps, kind of is evidence that this is an animated exhibit.
Yeah, I like it.
It's nice. Wonder if
That's
the
nice.
An X-beam video would work.
It might. And of course, I thought the same for the red hydrogen one, which has an even narrower base. Oh, I've got mine in a drawer. I can't measure it right now. The X-Trail Beam Pro has a slightly wider base, but I think its lenses are wider, so I think it would probably do just fine.
There's also i3D Movie Cam on the iPhone.
Does that work with 2 lenses? I haven't.
Yeah, it utilizes the two. They may be too close together, but it does utilize 2 of the 3 here.
It would probably be perfect for this subject.
Maybe I'll try it.
Aren't those iPhone lenses different millimeters?
I'm sorry, you talking to me?
Yeah, aren't they different focal lengths?
Yeah, but they compensate. I think Masuji has worked that out so that the algorithm compensates for it. I don't know how, but it's pretty amazing. It's I don't know, am I on camera here? Where we got? Yeah, here. Whoops. No, not now. Yeah, this is. Whoops. No, it's not showing up here. Maybe I can get rid of it. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oops.
Okay.
And it has a level on it, and but here you can kind of see if you zoom in there. So the lenses are giving you the same image and the same size image, despite being different millimeters. So.
Yeah, I would imagine they could compensate for that in software.
Yeah, and it's high def. It's 1920 by 1080. So.
It looks like...
Matt, about your picture, I was going to comment that I find it fascinating that the blue plane is blurred motion blurred quite a bit, and the red one is pretty sharp, and it just shows you that there's so much less movement when something's coming towards you versus something coming past you. This is like a perfect demonstration of that.
That's a really good point. Yeah. And I have my red hydrogen 1, and it looks like the lens spacing is about 12 millimeters on the red hydrogen 1, which, as Melinda has proven, is plenty if you know how to use this camera, as she does. And for a subject like this, plenty of depth, maybe even a little bit too much, but...
Yeah, I think that X-Beam Pro is too wide for this. But yeah, it wouldn't even matter so much, what the stereo base is. You could always find appropriate subjects, but the unfortunate thing about the H1 is that it's you can't be closer than about 1 foot before it goes out of focus. So it's challenging.
So it's not a great macro stereo camera.
It's okay for something that's more than 12 inches. Maybe you could get to 10 inches before it fails completely, but you really don't want to be more than 2 or 3 feet away if you can avoid it. And I mean, I've gotten usable stereo with subjects 10 feet away. There's enough stereo left to get an effect, but it's disappointing. So you really want to be between 1 feet and 3 feet.
And this one is for the i3D camera. Is for the later iPhones that have the 3 lenses, so they can use the lenses that are parallel to each other. Oops, you can't see it here.
Yeah, clearly you need a compatible device as well. My iPhone has just 1 lens. Jay posts in the chat regarding JPL, the lab remains closed except for essential activities. We are providing critical support to firefighting helicopters. 200 JPLers have lost everything. Wow.
Oh, jeez.
That is going to impact impact things. Wow.
And they are teleworking.
And they are teleworking. Okay.
That's good. Yeah, let's just hope the campus remains.
Yeah.
Fire's gotten very close.
This is really devastating. All right, well, thank you all. Let's move on to our next photo, and this is by Bob, and the title is Holiday Mashup.
Yeah, I was just driving to the store the other day, and these people had left up their holiday decorations and combined a little Tim Burton with Santa. And, just like this guy with the trees.
Well, for the record,
Well,
Jack
it's
Skellington does
all
kidnap Santa.
Tim Burton, isn't it? I mean, that's the story of the movie.
Yeah, yeah,
Jack wants to be Santa.
yeah.
And he kidnaps Santa. Takes his place.
I have forgotten all of it.
What camera did you use, Bob?
I'm sorry?
What camera did you use for this?
iPhone.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
And I didn't do much. I lightened his head a little bit in Photoshop, but and I was nice enough not to move their trash bins. I do like the blue color, but could done with that.
Was this using the 3D app or just a cha-cha?
No, it's just a cha-cha. But I like the way the hands worked with the tree.
Yeah.
The branches.
Yeah.
I have some other angles. Interesting to fool around with the color maybe here on some lighting. And
that tree is a nice framing element also.
Yeah.
So were you walking by to ask them when they were going to take their holiday decorations down?
no, actually, it was on the other side of the street. I had to stop, park my car. illegally and then just grab this quickly.
Totally worth it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Bob.
Sure.
Oleg, this next photo is by you. This is lunch at the memorial of the Chitin mudslide.
We just happened to be driving by this place, and they were having a memorial about 10 years ago. There's a volcano eruption, and this whole area was covered 15 feet with mud. So I have some other pictures. They show not 15, it's about 10 feet of mud that covered everything. So nobody lives there in this area anymore. They moved to town. But they had this memorial. So we were lucky. I took about several dozen pictures. This is lunchtime after the festivities.
Oleg, what do you think of the window violation in the left border?
It's not a window. I actually it's right behind the window, so it's not a violation, and I should have removed it maybe, but on the right side of the composition, there's a close person, and I wanted to balance it on the left side, so I left that whatever she's holding in the picture.
Your cell phone.
It is, yeah, it is coming through the window though.
Yeah, it is in front of the frame.
If you look at the left image, the amount of hand and shirt that you're seeing is a lot more than the right image.
Oh, I'll have to take another look. I thought I had it right.
Yeah, you might need to
Just
move
tweak
it
a
over
little.
a bit.
Or just get rid of the darn
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But like I say, I like the balance of having something close on both left and right side of the composition.
Yeah, if you could move that just to the edge of the window so that it's at zero parallax, I think you would maintain that balance.
Well, I thought I had done that, so something was wrong. Oh, maybe it was an earlier version.
Well, it'll mess up the guy on the right that you were trying to keep framed near the window.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to change that or crop that, but if
I think you have to pick. You have to choose.
You could isolate the hand and the phone and body parts on the left eye and just copy them into the right eye, so it'd be a 2D silhouette at the window. And I don't think it'd be too distracting.
yeah, I think that.
But unless you want that color of the pink on the left, I would just clone the blue guy's shirt to get rid of the phone and crop it in, so you get a lot of blue, and that kind of focuses on the flag and the red in the back more.
I like having the pink on the left, though. It balances the people with the pink trousers on the right.
Yeah.
I like.
By the way, the sun came out for about 10 minutes. The rest of the pictures are all taken in overcast.
You got some nice illumination on that flag.
Yeah, that's the Chilean flag.
Yeah, the back illumination, backlighting helps it stand out, and of course, it's nice and separated in 3D as well.
Getting a little retinal rivalry on that glacier or whatever it is on the mountain, but I'm looking at it small on my iPad, so I'm not sure how distracting that might be.
I'm seeing it here too. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening there.
Just to the left of the flag on the mountaintop.
Yeah. The snow is brighter in the left eye than in the right eye.
Yeah.
I'll zoom in on that. Looks like there are just more dark patches, easy enough to fix.
Yeah.
It's odd I didn't catch that.
That's what we're here for, Oleg.
Yep.
To tear this
For
apart.
your team.
Thank you for letting us critique your photography, Oleg.
Well, thank you. I needed that.
That's a spectacular sky too, but you're saying it was mostly overcast.
Yeah, and about 5 minutes later, it was overcast again. Just a little bit of light came through.
Oh, you were in the right place. It's a beautiful location.
You just don't want to live there. The buildings in the background there were just left alone. They moved the town and left the damaged buildings where they were. By the way, there was one, most of the people died in their houses in the mud. There was one, actually a soldier that thought about getting on his roof. And he rode his roof until the mud stopped. He was the only survivor.
Wow.
And he was one of the people that was in this there in he gave a short speech in Spanish. I don't know what he said.
Would these people have been residents of the village?
Yes. The people who were they're on direct line of the mud. They died.
Mm-hmm.
But the town is pretty big, so they're mostly remembering their friends who got lost.
I see. Well, thank you, Oleg. Steve, the next photo is by you, Buenos Aires Night Clouds. And it looks like you're over the clouds.
Yeah, this is from the airplane landing in Buenos Aires, and I kind of like the lights of the city are lighting up the underside of the clouds. This, of course, is a moving plane cha-cha.
Terrific.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, I always get a window seat when I fly.
Did you convert this to black and white, or oh no, I think I see some green in here.
Yeah, this is exactly the way it looked.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very nice. The city glow is amazing. The only problem though is the the lower right, the registration is off on those clouds, but I don't think they're really adding anything to the image. I think the main image is that view through the clouds, and then the light peeking up through
It's
behind it.
It's an elevation issue. You might be able to skew one of the chips so that the lower corner aligns better.
Yeah, I'd keep that lower corner, just to, realign it.
Yeah.
What bothers me more is that little spot of light in the lower left. There, I would clone out just that one dot.
Yeah, I think I see what you're talking about.
You should be able to stretch one of the images so that it aligns from top to bottom, and then you won't have that problem with the corner.
I'll take a look at it.
That's gorgeous. Really beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just trying auto alignment. I don't want to spend a lot of time.
Yeah, well, I know I did that on this one, but you know, it's not always perfect. And yeah, there's distortions depending on how you hold the phone against the window.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I think auto align did take care of the problem.
Oh, something happened.
The YouTube just went blank.
Yeah, I see that. Let's see. Oh, I think
Still
I know
not
what
on.
happened.
Still off.
Okay, it'll come back. That was. Let's see. Let me get this working again. What did I do? Okay. Give it 20 seconds or so, and it'll pop back.
But yeah, I did it offline, and auto align seems to fix it just fine. It twists both of the images. Maybe it was never auto aligned.
Is it the little lights down in the lower left that are bothering people?
It bothers me just that one light.
Because I could just take all those out. I don't think you'd lose that much.
Yeah, it's triple pixels, but yeah, the alignment in the lower right looks a lot better.
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah, I don't mind the lights that are kind of in the straight line. It's that one rogue at the very bottom edge.
Just sort of blinking.
Yeah, that's just kind of sitting on the edge of the frame. I would definitely clone that out.
You're talking about these lights over here. If you're following,
it's
along.
one light, but it's
just the one down below your crosshairs right now. You're almost on it. There you go.
Yeah, that's it right there. I did run auto align on these as Melinda did, and it looks like that did help this issue in the lower right-hand corner with the elevation of this cloud. It's still a little bit off. I don't think auto align can do it 100%, but yeah, I think there is a bit that can be adjusted here to make this just perfect.
You can get there with manual tweaking.
Yeah, I think it's really just doing a little bit of skewing or stretching or something.
Yeah.
Although auto align did get it closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's possible that I forgot to do it, or I don't know. Are there cases where the auto align works better the second time you do it?
Sometimes it does. Yeah, I found that I can. Sometimes if I'm gonna crop in pretty far, it helps to like do it. I can do it auto line the first time, then zoom in and then do another auto align.
I mean, I know with the cha-cha, you pretty much have to use the auto align.
Usually once is plenty, but sometimes I've had to like auto align after cropping or even do it more than once.
I've had similar experience.
I'm trying to remember if I cropped this one or not. I probably did, so maybe that auto aligning after the cropping might make a difference.
Yeah, I would make these tiny little adjustments, Steve, and consider entering this in an international. It's very unique. And of course, I wore out my W3, but when I was shooting with my W3, I was still running those MPOs through Stereo Photomaker's auto align because my W3 at least did have some vertical misalignment in the lenses or the sensors or whatever.
Mine too.
Yeah, I do that too. I mean, I just well, first of all, I can't load in an MPO into Affinity, so I
Right.
have to take it through Stereo Photomaker. And then while I'm there, I just usually just automatically do the auto align.
Yeah. But this would have been a smartphone, right? This would have been
Yes,
out
this
the
is with
window. Yeah.
my Samsung, uh, just holding it up to the window and trying not to photograph the wing of the aircraft.
And avoiding reflection and glare and all that.
Yeah, and scratches.
Right. Right. Oh, very nice. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, everybody.
And from Melinda, another photo from one of the cameras on, I think this is Perseverance. This is Sol 669 core sample.
Yeah, so this is probably the last one you'll see from me. It's just kind of nice to see another artificial object on the planet. I recently learned that with these core samples that it's taking, it's actually taking it takes two. One that it will load inside the body of the rover, and the other one that it just drops on the surface. And the idea there is that they didn't have enough money to come up with a sample return portion built into this mission, with a landing a rocket or something that can be launched from the surface and send the samples back. So so they're depending on some future mission coming and retrieving the samples, and so they did it this way because they didn't know if the rover meets an untimely end, that maybe the recovery mission wouldn't be able to get the samples out of the rover, and in that case they would be able to at least go and pick up the individual ones that are dotted along the way, since they know exactly where each of them are. And so NASA is not able to come up with anywhere near the budget needed to do at least a NASA mission to go and get these. So they've put out a call for bids or whatever. They're basically willing to pay large amounts of money for anybody who can go and pick up these samples. So each of these is probably worth about $1 billion to NASA. So if you think you can program a rocket to go and get them, it's worth quite a bit of money to try.
I just posted a link in the chat regarding an announcement regarding plans for the sample return mission, and it's a long video, but there was some live blogging about it, And it looks like it's going to be a very complex international mission to pick up these samples.
Yeah, it's a nice little prize. It'll be interesting to see if anybody manages to do it.
Yeah, we're leaving it to the next generation to figure out how to retrieve
Yeah.
these samples. Our generation figured out how to take the samples, and someone in the future will solve that problem.
It's going to be SpaceX. The Starship to Mars in 4 years.
It's possible.
It's certainly possible.
Yeah, I mean, but we'll see how tomorrow's launch goes.
Is it set for tomorrow now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
good luck.
Starship flight number is that? Would that be number 8?
7.
7 or 8? Well, there's real nice stereo in this, and some interesting, looks like track prints in the soil. And I wonder what cameras were used. This is not a conversion. You found this pair in the raw images?
Yes, so I found both images. The only images I've been using are from the Mastcam Z. But there's at least another 2 pairs of stereo cameras, like navigation cameras, and maybe even macro that takes close looks at the where they drill into the rock to expose the fresh surface, and then they hit it with lasers to determine the chemical properties, and then they have those stereo cameras for getting a close-up look.
So what percentage of the Perseverance rover's raw images have you looked through, Melinda? Do you think,
Oh, very
there must
little,
be
very little.
thousands and thousands.
Mostly, like when I heard about interesting events, then I would try to find out the date that they happened, and then load in that particular date, and then just sort of scroll through the pages of images. You have to set some filters for like which cameras you want to see, and what else?
I posted the link for Stereo Pics, where he's got an automatic script to get 3D, and he puts it on the display.
Oh, and does it just sort of ignore the ones that don't have stereo pairs?
I think so.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, and
It's in the chat.
and if they're storing all the images, that'd be amazing, because it's the most painful thing is that scrolling through a page, scrolling to the next page worth, or every time you make a change in your parameters, it takes many long seconds before anything shows up. There's not even a wait cursor to tell you when it's still thinking. So it's you have to really kind of nurse it along. So if there's a snappier site with, especially that's filtered out all the non-stereo stuff, that would eliminate almost all the work.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Melinda.
Yeah. It matches up automatically.
Yeah, thanks for that link. I was pretty much decided that I'm gonna stop doing this, but now you've given me a reason to go and take a look again.
All right, so we're approaching 9 o'clock, so we'll run a little late tonight. I hope that's not holding any of you up. We've got 5 more photos, and I probably should have used the timer or something when we have a big collection like this, but I like big slideshows like this, and I hope you don't mind staying a little late. I certainly don't mind.
What about Bob's demo?
And we have that too. Bob, I got your 2 anaglyphs, the book project. So if you can stick around,
Yeah,
we will take a
we
look
don't
at
have to go
those.
through that now. We can do that another time.
Okay. If we don't do it tonight, we'll do it at our next meeting on February 4th. In the meantime, here's my final photo from the Musée Mécanique, and this one doesn't have a lot of depth, and I didn't even need a synchronized stereo camera to take this one. This is part of the carnival miniature attraction. I just thought it had a lot of personality, and I thought that the base accentuated the depth that is in this photo from these different shells. And I kind of like the illumination of that little 15-watt bulb or whatever they have in here. So that's why I shared it.
It's nice.
And I would say this figure is, yeah, again, probably about 3 inches. Let's take a look at one by Jay.
Same museum. Forgot if it's a loom pad or a cha-cha. Just, this is gorgeous, like 20 feet wide. You could see a bit of it in the background of that dragon picture.
Well, with the amount of depth you have in this must have been a cha-cha.
I'm not sure, cause it is, smaller than life scale.
Okay. A lot of
And
depth,
the loop-
however you captured
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I have to check. Yeah, I took a bunch of pictures, both cha-cha and with a loom pad from the same position.
And it's nice and sharp, too. Lots of detail.
Yeah.
I like
Yes,
how
and
they made
this-
I like the
this
blue
one-
reflective surface.
Yeah, they had nice fake water.
Such interesting light falling on it, too. These blues and violets.
It was pretty much how the light was in the museum.
Yeah. There's a lot to explore.
That's good image
with.
quality.
Yeah, thank you, Jay. That's lovely.
Is it carved from like a burl or a stump? Is that what we're looking at here?
I'm sorry?
I'm wondering what the origin of the sculpture is. The detail in the background makes me think it's carved from a burl or a stump or something.
I think it's ivy. Ivory.
Okay.
No, it was wood.
It is
It
wood.
was wood, yeah.
Oh,
You could definitely get that kind of detail in carved ivory. All right, thank you, Jay. Oleg, coming up from you is Sunrise from the Hornopyran Ferry. I think we've seen parts of this ferry before.
Oh, you're going to see more. We spent a lot of time on the ferries. This is the main highway, and there are places the mountains, it was just not worth building roads. So there's at least 3, 4 ferries that are part of the highway to the south. And this was sunrise. I like the combination of the red jackets that people there were wearing.
I see a lot of reds, oranges, and yellows. And some green. Yeah, I know we really enjoyed the photos from this ferry last week, and I look forward to seeing more. What is the duration of the ride on this ferry?
Well, it's slow. Each one is several hours.
So you've got plenty of time to get out of the car and explore, set up your cameras.
Yeah, and everybody else is moving around, so it got lots of pictures.
Sounds like a very civilized way to travel.
It's slow.
Yeah, but
Actually, when you in the sections that they actually had a physical road, that was boring because the vegetation is the same. You go for an hour or two and there's nothing really to stop and look at. So I think most of the pictures that I took was on the ferries.
well, we look forward to seeing more. Thank you, Oleg. Bob, this is Mannequin's Reality. Are you here, Bob?
Yeah.
Oh, there
I'm
you
here.
are. Is that
No,
popped up
if I
for you?
would, yeah, this was a window display in San Francisco. I think on Bush Street. It was. Oh yeah, they're not there anymore. But that's Optical Underground. It's a wonderful optician place downstairs. But this was a separate store upstairs that happened to have VR headsets on their mannequins. So had to photograph it.
So the giant eyeglasses aren't there anymore?
No.
Oh.
Oh, glad you got him for this shot.
Yeah.
Well, I thought they were observing the population before they take over.
So this
It's-
is
I have a strong feeling that the effect is very different if you're seeing it from the inside versus outside. Because outside it might just look like an ordinary window display, but
Yeah.
inside it sure looks menacing.
That's what they're planning.
Exactly.
I recognize the photo. There's some frame prints on that wall.
Yeah.
The top photo is a photo of the Rolling Stones. Maybe they all are of the Stones. I don't know, but that's definitely the Stones. I am holding a print of that photo in my hand. I got it at the Musée Mécanique. There's a vending machine.
Oh, you're right. There's Rolling Stones. Yeah. I thought the top one was Beatles, but it says Rolling Stones on it.
Yeah.
Oh, you can see that.
And this was another iPhone cha-cha. I ended up having to clone the background. I thought, well, instead of cloning that guy out, I just left both of him in and put them in different places. So we have twins in the background there.
I see. I would have never caught that.
It's subtle.
And that's smart. You don't have to. It seems like that's. I mean, these are small figures, but it seems like that's just less work overall, trying to match it.
Well, I liked having humans in it and having a clone out in the real world, I thought added to it. What I'm seeing now, and I saw this before, I'm not sure. There's a notch in the edge of the building there, and I'm not sure if that's an actual notch or something I had left over from some cutting and pasting there.
Looks like
an
it's
actual
actually
notch.
part of the structure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's for real.
Yeah.
All right, very nice.
Thanks.
There's some humor in this one too. And our last photo of tonight's slideshow is by Steve. I think we know where this is. The title is Seals and Penguins.
Yeah, self-explanatory. Of course, W3. And this is as close as you can get. You know, they're very protective of the wildlife. So we had to stay. I may have, leaned in a little bit to get, more depth. But I think we have to stay 15 feet away.
Somebody's out there.
Hmm?
Isn't that a person in the far background in the orange jacket?
It looks like, like a person, but looks like he's pretty far away from the seals. He or she.
Would you consider, Steve, cloning that or those people out to make this look more remote and unexplored?
Sure. No, I mean, there'd be no problem to do that. Yeah, it makes sense. I wouldn't reject the idea.
Go the other way. Have one of the penguins checking their cell phone.
I love their configuration. Looks like they're playing some kind of game or surveying the land or something, the way they're lined up there.
They're very busy. They're always moving about.
Yeah, well, I got things to do.
Waddling around. Yeah, I don't know. They just seem to play. Pretty good life. They jump in the water, catch a fish, and then they can lie and rest. The seals are getting plenty of rest.
Well, Steve, for me, this is the kind of classic 3D photo. I've always wanted to visit Antarctica and see the flora and fauna, and this may be as close as I'll ever get. And of course, in the heyday of the stereoscope and stereo cards, when every middle-class home had a stereoscope, travel was a big subject, being able to visit places you couldn't go to through the magic of 3D. So that's how this one is working for me.
Not much
Yeah,
flora.
I never had a stereoscope, but certainly we all had Viewmasters, and
Yeah.
I have a collection of travel Viewmasters as well as cartoons.
That was our stereoscope of our generations. All right, thank you, Steve. And I appreciate everyone hanging out a little late. We're not done yet. We're going to take our poll. I'm going to go through the slideshow once more. I'll go through as quickly as I can. I'll give everyone a minute or two to load up the poll. Of course, participation is optional, but the more people who participate, the more interesting the results will be. And I'm just going to go there myself. And I'll go through the slideshow. We'll skip those for now. And we will start here with Melinda's Bad Dog. Matt's One More Time at the Alameda Point Antiques Fair. Jay's Corn Cob.
Something's happening to the YouTube. I'm not sure what.
Yeah, those were
there.
the workshop photos, and they weren't really formatted for side by side.
Okay.
So it should be working now.
Okay, yeah.
And let's see, we should be seeing Oleg's Andres on the Uman Lodge's deck.
Yes.
Pileated Woodpecker by Bob. Boots by Steve. Light at the End of the Tunnel by Melinda. Musée Mécanique Entrance by Matt. Oh, I think I might have missed one here. Yeah, Green Car by Jay. Two Beached Boats and a Rope by Oleg. Havana Red by Bob. Wooden Dragon by Jay.
Mine didn't come up there. I don't know if it was.
Let's see, would that be the Havana Red? It should be up now.
Yeah.
I'll let things catch up. Right now we have Wooden Dragon, and next will be Brabant Island by Steve. Sol 114, Perseverance Rover Spots a Dust Devil by Melinda. Musée Mécanique Carnival Airplane Attraction by Matt. Let's let YouTube catch up here. Next will be Holiday Mashup by Bob. Lunch at the Memorial of the Chitin Mudslide by Oleg. Buenos Aires Night Clouds by Steve. Sol 669 Core Sample by Melinda. Musée Mécanique Carnival Booth by Matt. Standing on the Dock of the Bay by Jay. Sunrise from the Hornopyrin Ferry. by Oleg. Mannequin's Reality by Bob. And Seals and Penguins by Steve. And the YouTube slideshow is just about caught up. Let's spend a minute, maybe two, making our selections, and I'll show the results. I'm going to stop my sharing, and I will share the results. For those who have voted, I can show you the Rolling Stones print that I saw in Bob's photo that I got at the Musée Mécanique. So that's authentic for sure. And I forget if I showed off this nice stereoscope that I picked up at the Alameda Point Antiques Fair. I've never found one that's in such immaculate condition, except some of the felt around the hood here is worn out. But great optics, great shape. It must have been never used. Let's add that to my collection.
Very nice.
Does anyone need more time to make their selections? Probably not. Let me pull up the results here. Okay, let me share my screen. And what are we looking at? Steve, Buenos Aires night clouds. That should surprise no one. You got the majority of votes clearly. We'll call second a tie between Oleg's Andres on the Uman Lodge's deck, Steve's Brabant Island, and Bob's Mannequin's Reality. And we can give a third to Oleg's Two Beached Boats on a Rope. All right, I think we had some clear favorites tonight. We don't have as wide a spread as we usually do. Probably helps that we have a larger group also. All right. That concludes our meeting for the evening. Our next meeting is Tuesday, February 4th. And our special subject, which won't be until the 11th, is Through the Window. And before we call it quits, does anyone have anything they'd like to share, announce, say? 3D or otherwise? We had some great photos tonight. Really appreciate everyone's participation. Bob, we'll take a look at your two page spreads next time.
And those are in anaglyphs, since the book is going to be in anaglyph. At least one of the editions will be in anaglyph.
Okay. Well, we'll take a look, and I'll give you the floor to explain what we're looking at. Until then, good night, everyone. Thanks for making it another successful evening, and I'll see you next month.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Matt.
Good night, guys.
Take care.
Great evening.